The guidance issued to the banks
These are the regulators that have given the banks that have until today to show how they'll boost the safety buffer of cash they each hold in reserve. It's a huge hurdle for the worst affected 32 of the 71 European banks put through stress tests. One of the most troubled, Italy's Unicredit, has just raised €7.5 billion by selling new stock, but now its shares have sunk. Euro regulators based here in the City of London want to see banks trying to tap their investors for more cash, and they're happy to see whole bits of banks being sold off. But what they don't want to see is what's actually happening, with banks shrinking and lending less to businesses to match their reduced circumstances. So what is it that banks have got to show that they can do?
Well, banks have to reach this 9% capital target, and they have 6 months to do it.
This credit specialist says that in demanding these recapitalisations, the authorities must walk a fine line between reassuring investors that banks can handle more defaults in Europe and not triggering another credit crunch.
Well, the obvious answer for banks is to, seek any means possible to raise their capital levels without actually going to existing shareholders. It's proven difficult and very expensive for them to take this path. So one way in which banks can seek to meet the new targets will be to shrink their balance sheets. Now, there's a number of ways in which they can do this. They could potentially sell assets and also curb the amount of credit that they provide to the economy. And the obvious risk here is that by reducing the amount of credit that they supply to the economy, this may curtail or curb already anemic economic growth in Europe.
We know that German, Italian and Spanish banks have to raise the most. A few may not produce credible plans, and if they can't bridge the gap with yet more state aid, then some could be facing failure. Nigel Cassidy, BBC News.